Hello and welcome to this edition of Consider This with Charles Lake. Today we're going to talk about how the corporations that made polystyrene food containers, back in the 90s when they found out that they were poisoning people, they sold off their division that made that product. So let's go in and take a look at some of this. But first, I'd like to show you I was poisoned while unloading polystyrene food containers at W.R. Grace on April 6, 1992. And I put this together to show the loads that are in red and yellow are trailers that I hauled asbestos in, which means there were approximately, there were 20 drivers in New York. There were 30 some drivers in Pennsylvania at the main terminal. We had a terminal in Florida, South Carolina, Texas. So there are probably about 200, 300 drivers that worked for MPC Trucking or Muncie Products Corporation, who used to make driveway sealer, roof coatings, and we used to haul the asbestos out of it, Asbestos Quebec and so forth and so on. But these are the trailers I hauled asbestos out of Asbestos Quebec with, or other companies. We also hauled sugar for Amstar Sugar, Domino Sugar. And these are the trailers that I've hauled asbestos in that are all marked. And they're only the trailers I hauled asbestos in. So the rest of the trailers probably had asbestos in them too, but Muncie Products Corporation was who I actually worked for, and these here were the loads that I hauled for them. And then we have the asbestos loads, and these are all the times I picked up asbestos up in John Manville, Asbestos Quebec, and where I brought them, Waterford or Kimberton, or so I just wanted to make that known, because as you can see, there are quite a few trailer loads in both the food product. This was a food product. This is polystyrene food containers packaged in perforated plastic bags. So, and they were stacked on the floor. They were not on pallets. I want to make that, because we had to take them out of the pile and stack them, and we would have anywhere from 90 to 110 pallets per trailer. And it would take us, as you can see, 5, 6, sometimes only 3 hours, but most of the time 5, 6 hours to get unloaded. And we only got paid for 4, because that's the agreement that the company had with W.R. Grace and the food warehouses. And these are all food warehouses all up and down the East Coast, mostly in the Northeast, Brattleboro, Elizabeth, New Jersey, so Windsor Locks, Connecticut, which is Finest Food Mart. I don't even know if they're in business anymore. C&S Warehouse, which moved from Brattleboro, by the way. Wetterall Foods, which was Andover, Massachusetts, which I wasn't allowed to go there after a few times because I got thrown out because they got mouthy with me and I got mouthy with them, and that was the end of it. It was nice. Okay, so just to let you know, it makes no difference what goes in the trailer before. They'll just throw food in it anyway, which I gave them an out. After 17 and a half years on the road, most of the system's in place already. When you pull into a DOT stop, they check your manifest, they check your inspection stickers. Now, how hard is it for the DOT inspector to say, hey, this is a chemical load, asbestos load, a toxic waste load, and you have it in a food trailer? Because I know that because there's a letter F. The food inspection sticker starts with a letter F. So we know that's a food trailer. And they can rip the inspection sticker off, find the company, not the driver. And that trailer would never be able to haul food like these trailers did. So let's go to our, I'm starting off in Walburn, Massachusetts, because this is where children died from leukemia. 12 children died. There were about 20 some but 12 died. And if we go down, this is the history. W.R. Grace put out the history of the town because they bought a building that was already used for making chemicals, and then, well, we shouldn't be the only one to blame for this. But it's ridiculous that the families that were, they only got $8 million out of W.R. Grace. And that was disgusting. Oh gosh, W.R. Grace offered me $3,000 after I had already had 4 strokes and 4 heart attacks. This was back in 2008 or 9, I believe. It's, maybe even before that. So they don't want to give you what you're worth, and this is the ugly truth. And it tells you about the civil action with John Travolta, which was about the Walburn story. It was a movie that was done back in 1982. So they paid the people $8 million, but they put over $21 million in the cleanup, and it ain't even done yet. It's still not really done yet. So, and so it's, if you'd like to read these, if you go here, let's go right here, that's the website, and you can just type it in and you can get to these stories. Now this I wanted to bring to your attention because this is W.R. Grace, our history, and it goes all the way back to 1832, and it tells you all the great things they did. And when you get down to 1969, Grace Construction Products in Cambridge, Massachusetts, Grace sold this line. They don't tell you anything about what happened to the children or the town, or that they spent $21 million trying to clean up the mess that they made. So that tells you a little bit about how these companies work. That they'll destroy one place, and they'll go to another and they'll say, oh, we sold that line. We didn't, no, it's not us. So this was the way they work. Okay, now, new bans on foam worry Mobile. Okay, because Mobile Chemical And I used to pick up there. It was just south of Rochester, New York. I used to pick up shrink wrap, plastic bags that you do your shopping in, and polystyrene food containers. They all came out of the same building. Well, actually, it was several buildings, so it was the same plant. Let's put it that way. So Mobile Chemical got nervous here and decided they were gonna sell off. You know, they had other plants too, so they're gonna sell off their to Tenneco. Packaging bought it for $1.27 billion. So here again, you got Mobile Chemical. They hear something's coming down the road that they ain't going to be able to do this no more. Instead of scaling down the operation and making things that were not poisoning people, they say, hey, we got a great deal here. We can sell this to somebody else. Let them get stuck with it. So that's what Mobil did. Okay, even though ExxonMobil is still making packaging stuff, healthcare, medical packaging and things, but they're out of a different kind of plastic. Some people are saying right now that it's a safe plastic. I don't see any plastic as safe plastic after what I've been through. Okay, and here's a New York Times article from 1990 where McDonald's was trying to clean up their act because they were sued over in England. This here don't have nothing about that, and they won the lawsuit, but it gave them a bad name because that's where everybody knew that these things were starting to poison people. It started over in England to get these things off the market. So yeah, and this here is pretty, in 1988, Mobile Chemical and Greenpack, they sold off their stuff, and companies each put $2 million, so, and like I said, you can each page has it. This is the website it came off of. So and I just downloaded this. It'll tell you right at the top. I'm 5/15/24, so it's probably still there. Tenneco to buy subsidiary from Amoco. So it's not just Mobil Oil and W.R. Grace, who's in the oil business. And Dick Cheney was the head of it there for a while, or vice president, whatever he was. So, yeah, this Amoco sold theirs for $310 million. So, this is what they do. Instead of saying, "Wow, people are being poisoned. We're killing people." No, that wasn't the mindset. The mindset is, how can we make as much money off of this as we can without getting sued? Let the other companies get sued for the hardship. And finally, we have Dark Container, which is the largest manufacturer of foam cups and containers in the U.S. today. And this is really concerning to me, because Darkin was started in 1937, and it wasn't until the 50s, and actually April 1960 that Dark Containers started making polystyrene food containers, like the cups and stuff like that. But what's really, really concerning to me, and they bought Solo Cup in 2012, but the owners of this company, two brothers, Kenneth Dart and Robert Dart, who denounced their citizenship to the U.S. in 1994 and live in the Cayman Islands so that they can't be brought back for trial or anything. The most we could do is shut down their business, and that ain't gonna do squat because they've already got their money over in the Cayman Islands, and they're just sitting there laughing at everybody that they made suffer with diabetes and depression and everything. And they're like, we don't care, we're back. Nah, you can't touch us, we're multi-billionaires, you ain't gonna touch us. The Internal Revenue Service has been going after them for years, and this is something that is despicable, because they know the hardship. When I was living in New York, I went to a meeting over in Massachusetts, Pittsfield, Massachusetts, yes. Not Pittsfield, what's the name of that town? But anyway, they were looking to do away with polystyrene food containers, and the Dart Corporation representative was there, and so was the Chemical Institute was there. And they kept calling me a liar, and Mr. Lake don't know what he's talking about, and this, that, and the other thing. And I started bringing up medical documentation that's on the website showing that this is really destroying our children. It's destroying the adults. It's giving us diabetes. And it took almost a year and a half, almost 2 years before the bill passed. But we got the bill passed over there, and I happened to be down at my son's wedding in Florida, and I got a bouquet of flowers in my email from the lawyer, because he said that if it wasn't for me, the bill wouldn't have passed, because I wrote a letter to the editor and gave everybody the information, and it was the people that did it. I just supplied the information. It was the people that came forth and pushed their representatives to do away with it. And now it's there are 11 states that have done away with it. Massachusetts hasn't done it yet. They have a bill, but they haven't done it yet. In talking to my representative here in California, I've been told that polystyrene food containers will be off the market next year because they don't come to the what they're supposed to. They're not health effective, is basically what he said. So they're going to be taking it off the market next year. So that'll be 12 states. We'll see what happens first. I'm not going to mark it on the website until it happens. All right, but this should make everybody pause to think that a company here in the U.S. that's poisoning people, giving people diabetes, and because of their product, is so bad for the health of the nation. And they disowned this country in 1994, and they live in the Cayman Islands. So it's beyond disgusting. It's beyond disgusting. So that's our show for today. I hope you stay safe, stay healthy, stay away from plastic, and our next show, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do next show, but it will be on this subject. Okay, I thank you for listening. Have a great day.